Hey guys, if you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. So today I'm going to be getting ready because I'm feeling spring vibes. Again, I'm going to be showing some of my older products some love. Oh. Don't forget your sunscreen, people. Your skin will thank you. Okay, so one of my biggest pet peeves when I see people putting on sunscreen is y'all be forgetting your eyelids. Your eyelids is skin too. All right, so we're not gonna talk about the bun situation. We're just living. They have mind of their own. I spent way too long trying to get them even remotely similar. So we're leaving the fact that this one is more plump and luscious than this side. It's just gonna live its life. So I seen this super cute, I'm so into freckles, right? And I had this like super cute idea to do like daisies for the spring. And then I seen a Instagram post of a girl who did it. I can't remember who she was. I should have screenshotted it, mom brain, so that's probably why I did not even think about it. But that's what we're going to do today. So we're getting ready because I'm going to be filming another video talking about spring palettes that I just love so much. So I was looking back at some old videos. Not old videos. I was looking back at some old pictures of myself when I was like a twig before my twins. And after my daughter, in between, even before my daughter, when I was a twig. And I was thinking about how my relationship with my body image has changed so tremendously in the last year. So I remember before my daughter, I was so scared to even like eat to gain a pound. If I gained a pound, I would like panic and starve myself for like weeks on end. Disclaimer, this may be triggering to some people, so if you struggle with any EDs, please don't watch because I may trigger someone on accident. But I remember being so afraid to eat anything if I gained even like the littlest amount of weight. So I remember being so like, I don't even know. I remember just like panicking if I gained a pound. I wouldn't want to eat if I gained any weight. If I even seen like the scale fluctuate the little, like an ounce, I would panic before my daughter. And then I had my daughter, and I remember being so paranoid as a pregnant woman because you gain weight. And I remember like not having the healthiest pregnancy that pregnancy. I mean, I ate and I did what I was supposed to, but it was a struggle to do it. And then after I had my daughter, things kind of went okay. And I wasn't as stressed about my eating habits or whatever. And it wasn't as bad after her, but it was still pretty bad. And then after some time, I went through some traumatic things and I unhealthily lost weight because I just was not eating. That's one thing about me that I don't like is when I stress or I panic or I'm going through like tough times in life, I will not eat. I just don't have the urge to, so I have to force myself to eat. But at this time I was going through a traumatic event in my life, so I was not eating at all at this time in my life. I mean, I was eating. I mean, I'm still here, but I was not eating, if that makes sense. And it was a pretty dark time in my life. Anyways, with that being said, I was pretty tiny, and then I got to a better mental place, and I started going to the gym, and I was like super hardcore gym life. My body was like super fit, but I still was like super obsessed with like calories and how much I weighed. And I remember getting pregnant with my twins, and I was so paranoid again, because I was like, shoot, I'm like almost to the weight that I want to be at, where I'll be perfect and whatever. But even when I was at the perfect weight, I was constantly like, oh, this is an imperfection, this is an imperfection, this is an imperfection. I honestly feel like getting pregnant with my twins was a blessing in disguise, because after I got pregnant with them, it was like something just clicked in me. It was like something clicked in me, and I was okay with eventually like gaining the weight and being more fluffy. Something about being pregnant with my twins just kind of liberated me. And then after I gave birth to them, after I gave birth to the twins, my whole perspective on everything, like weight and whatever, changed. And I remember being at my tiniest. And never feeling good enough. Like, I never thought I was cute. I never thought I was like beautiful. I never felt like attractive. And then I had my twins, and I don't even know what clicked or when it clicked, but I was like, I'm a bad bee, even if I got a little extra chunk. I also feel like my body image began to change around the time that I got saved, because I started to realize my self-worth, and I just kind of like realized at that point that like I'm worthy no matter what weight I'm at. And I think that is where things really started to kind of not click. I feel like once I got saved, that's when things started to really like change, and my image of myself started to really grow and develop. But it wasn't where it needed to be until I got pregnant with my twins. And then I started to realize like how beautiful and how worthy I am, and how perfectly made I am. And we all are, not just me, everybody. But that's when my self-image started to improve, and I began to know my worth. I keep using powders, I'm getting everywhere. Oh my gosh. But with that being said, like, there was so many times that I didn't feel, I mean, there's days that I go and I'm like, oh, I could lose 20 pounds, or I should lose 50 pounds. But in the reality is, nobody, when they're about to go meet Jesus, is worried about eating that piece of cake. They're not like, oh man, I shouldn't have ate that cake. Now I'm going to have it 50 pounds heavier. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why am I so fixated on pleasing all of these people when I'm going to meet Jesus, I'm not going to be worried about it at all. I'm not going to care that I ate the cake. If anything, I'll be mad I didn't eat the cake. And I've had people tell me like, oh, you don't want to get big because your husband's not going to be attracted to you. Well, if he's not attracted to me, then he doesn't, we weren't meant to be anyway. There would have been a downfall somewhere else along the line. And my husband will eventually, the one that's supposed to be my husband, if that ever was to happen, would come along. Do I think that's true? No. My husband would love me if I was big as a house. After I had my twins, something just kind of clicked. It was like just prior to having them. I was probably about like 7 months pregnant. Yeah, 7 months pregnant. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so big. And I'm so like round and plump and luscious. In a negative way, I was thinking this and feeling this. And then I just so happened to be sitting around one day and I was thinking like, I may be big and plump and I may not be or I may not think I'm beautiful, but my body is phenomenal. I am creating a little human. I am growing them. They're healthy. I wasn't just growing one human, I was growing 2 humans. And my body is incredible. And that is when I just started to like, wow, I'm beautiful. And then I gave birth to my sons at 35 weeks pregnant. And we had to stay in the hospital because they were having like phantom breathing. So phantom breathing is where their chest is moving, but they're not actually breathing. And we had to stay in there. And I knew that their lungs were like more developed. We were lucky to make it to 35 weeks. But I also felt like my body had betrayed me. And because it didn't hold out and stay pregnant for longer. So I remember kind of hating my body because I was like, I could have held them in. Like, why didn't I hold them in longer? And I kind of went through like postpartum. And again, my walk with faith definitely helped me through that because I realized it could have been so much worse. They could have been in NICU. They could have had way worse problems than us staying an extra 2 weeks in the hospital to get them both up to where they needed to be and doing what they needed to be doing. Why am I crying? But I remember thinking like that my body just wasn't competent, and I was so mad that I didn't keep them in longer. But along that journey, I realized that I was lucky and it could have been worse and there could have been more complications, and we had some strong prayer warriors on our side because we definitely made it out with a lot less than it could have been, a lot less stress than it could have been, a lot less. And it could have been way worse, especially with early babies. And so I went through a phase of like hating my body again for a different reason this time. It wasn't the weight, it wasn't the imperfections of my breasts not being where I want them or my legs not being as thin as I want them. I didn't like my body for a different reason. And at that point I realized like, dang, we're hard on ourselves. Because here I have 2 beautiful babies and I should be like over the moon ecstatic. And I was hating my body. And I wasn't only hating my body for that, I was hating my body for not looking. With my daughter, I bounced back. I bounced back so quick with my daughter, it was not even funny. With the twins, I didn't. And I was so mad. I remember thinking like, what is wrong with me? Why is my body this way? I have extra tummy chunks. When I sit down, I have bigger legs and bigger arms and bigger thighs. And I remember feeling some form of disgust with myself. Because your body changes when you have a baby. And after months of like feeling unworthy, feeling unbeautiful, it's at no fault to anybody. My husband wasn't out here saying anything or being like, because I know there are spouses that will put their spouse down after having a baby and not bouncing back. My husband was not like that. That's not any of the reason that I felt the way I did. It was more of an internal feeling, the way I felt, more stressed at the fact that we were living in the middle of a pandemic. We were living in the middle of a panorama, you know, and giving birth to a kid in a situation that you have no control over is scary. So there was a lot of factors, and I remember thinking, like, if I had kept them in longer, they would have been safer because their little bodies would be more equipped. If I had... So there was a lot of, like, self-deprecating because I felt like my body had failed me, as well as looking at my body and it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And then I remember I picked up my Bible in a long time because I hadn't picked it up, and I remember seeing she is beautifully made, and I was like, I am. And I looked at my sons and I looked at my daughter, and it didn't matter what weight I was at. It didn't matter how I seen myself, but they thought I was so beautiful, and they think I'm so incredibly smart and talented, and they see things in me that I don't even see in myself. And that was when my self-love began. My true self-love journey began. Like, society has this way of making us feel like if we are not paper thin, then we are not worthy. If we are not curvaceous as the Kardashians, then we are not worthy. But we are worthy. Moms struggling with self-image, you're beautiful. You may not see it, but your children see it. And remember, what we see of ourselves is not what we are. You are so much more than the wider hips or the cellulite or the saggy boobies. One, you're perfectly made because you're made in the Lord's image. And two, you're perfect to your baby. Oh my goodness, my monkeys. What are you doing? Are you seeing yourself? You're so handsome. Lately, I've so been into this like teddy bear brown lip color. So I'm using Fab Lippy Stick and Petal Please lip liner from Colourpop. So I'm going to go in with my Glam Vice retro liners in Skate Date, Peaches and Cream, and Banana Split. So that's all for today. Leave some comments down below on some things that you want to see or what your thoughts were today. I know we got a little bit emotional. Sorry. I promise not every video will be that emotional. But here's the look. My springtime feels has been contained. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.